Welcome back. Well, Democrats divided between the mainstream moderates, so-called mainstream moderates, and the far-left Democratic Socialists. But according to a new op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, the man who many on the left blame for Hillary Clinton's 2016 loss may actually be the one who will unite them. So can their disdain for James Comey bring them together? Here to react, founder of Millennial Politics and Brooklyn Independent Democrats Executive Committee member Nathan Rubin. Nathan, thank you very much for being here this morning.
Of course, thank you.
Jim, I see a lot of names on the Democratic list. Jim Comey, not one of them. Could he unite Democrats?
Look, I think James Comey is a patriot. I think he's served his country throughout his life. I think as a private citizen, he's continuing to do what he thinks is in the best interest of the United States. Him reuniting the Democrats, I don't think is going to happen. The way he handled the Hillary Clinton email investigation, I think, has left a lot of Democrats still feeling a little bitter. So I just don't see it happening. He doesn't have a constituency in the Democratic Party.
Great point. And he was a Republican supposedly before. Now he's also called on rejecting the socialist left. You're from Brooklyn. A Cortez from Bronx, who is a Democratic socialist, was recently chosen. Is she the future? Is socialism and folks like her the future of your party?
Well, I want to clarify that because I think when people hear the word socialism, they have visions of Venezuela and the Soviet Union. But I think there's a difference between democratic socialism and the type of
soft socialism versus.
Well, I'm not a member of DSA, so I don't want to clarify about that. But what I will say is that I think our budget is the priorities that we set for our country, and I think saying everyone should have access to universal health care or affordable housing or investing in public infrastructure or public schools or public art, I think that's something that is going to be decided in this election.
So who, but to that point, I mean, the question is then who pays for it? And that is a very different view of the world. So President Trump has said, I want a strong military and I want to cut taxes. I want to let people be free. Your argument would be reduce our military.
Well, Pete, who paid for the Bush tax cuts? Who paid for the war in Iraq? Who paid for the war in Afghanistan? Who paid for the Trump tax cuts? Exactly, we all do.
We all do.
So we can all chip in for something that helps us, as opposed to those endless wars.
But you would argue, we can argue about the wars. I totally get that, whether they had a utility to national security. But an argument for free health care and free college tuition means someone is paying for it directly. Is that just raising tax? So is the platform raising taxes?
Well, I think we need to look at how it's going to get paid for. I mean, there's no question. But right now, we're financing and borrowing from the future to give handouts to the top 1% right now. So if we can just look at where is our money.
1% got hit by the tax reform.
I don't think that's true.
They're paying more.
I don't believe that.
Oh, you don't have to believe it. It's true.
I don't think that's true.
Who pay some more taxes.
We're seeing
and is it bad that businesses have more
give
money in their
buybacks to their shareholders?
Small businesses pay a smaller rate. Is that bad? And where does this 4.1% growth come from?
So I think no one's denying that 4.1% GDP growth is a good thing. That's definitely a good thing for the United States of America. But I will say, when you look at the tax reform, you're having these multinational corporations buy back their shares. We've seen wages drop, actually, for the vast majority of Americans.
Seen wages drop.
It was
a
data point in Bloomberg.
All right, we'll check it out. We'll check that out and get back to you. Nathan, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, the few remaining survivors of the worst sea disaster in U.S. naval history coming together. The authors of the book that details the tragedy were there, and they join us live coming up next.